Well, good evening, YouTube, and welcome to another episode of the Albino Rhino. My pets are disgusting review. My one dog's chewing on her vagina, my other dog's licking where his balls used to be, and my cat is just sitting in my chair staring at me. It's an intriguing display going on behind me. And today we're going to drink a beer from Half Hours on Earth. Today's beer is the Mondo Bongo, which is a dry hopped Brett Blonde at 5.8% alcohol by volume. A Brett Blonde. It's just, oh yeah, there's a big yeast cake in there. Let's just do this quick. Wow, is that a big yeast cake? This isn't even going to help. The yeast cake is huge. It's huge. It was bottled on January 19th, so just under a month old. 4 days under a month old. I should have gotten a bigger glass. Should have gotten a bigger glass. Okay. Beautiful bright white head. Big snap crackle pop. It should dissipate fairly quickly. Dissipate. It should disappear. Okay. Dissipate would be the word I was going to use, but I like to fuck around with words and see if people notice that I fucked around with words. Like when I say a brazier for a French brewery, that one I love. Oh, people get angry. Lots of haze on this, a nice golden color. Yeah, it's an intriguing looking little beer. So, I guess it's time to give it a smell test, isn't it? Here we go. You get that slightly tart wet hay smell that Brett sometimes gives off. A little bit of neutral graininess. And a mixture of like passion fruit and soap. It has that perfumey, soapy smell that is reminiscent of, say, your grandmother's old soaps in her bathroom. You know, when they'd have that seashell soap and the little flower soap and the leaf soap and everything else, and it would just be all over the bathroom, and you're not allowed to use any of it, and it all smells horrible. It has that perfumey, soapy smell, but mixed with passion fruit. Slightly sour wet hay. And a graininess. It smells kind of like a Belgian blonde sometimes smells. So, I mean, and it smells like a Brett beer sometimes smells. So I can't really hold anything against it. I'll hold something against it, though. My face. Oh. Let's try it. Cheers. Okay, so all in all, Half Hours on Earth is still my favorite new brewery in Ontario as of right now because they make some of the beers I love. Neptunati, Totally, Razzie Star, a lot of their Yalla Yalla beers are excellent. They make some amazing beers, obscured by clouds in the barrel, not the regular. They make some of my favorite beers in Ontario. They also make some of my least favorite beers in Ontario. And they make some beers that are okay at best for me. And this is probably in that category. This is a good beer. It's just not something that blows me out of the park. I'm glad I got to try it. But it's just, I can see where people are going to love this. That those people just aren't me. And that's perfectly fine and perfectly acceptable and perfectly understandable. It happens. That's the thing with beer. There's a beer for everybody. And there's a beer that's not for you. And this one isn't not for me, it's just not for me, if you get my drift. I love the visual appeal of it. The scent, I was already slightly perturbed by the grandmother soap smell. And I tasted in this. How do you know what your grandmother's soaps taste like? I was raised by old Irish ladies. If you swore, you had to chew on a bar of soap. You weren't allowed to use my grandmother's soaps, her flower soap, or her seashell soap, or her star soap, or her what was the other ones? I can't even remember. I should be able to remember, but I can't. The leaf soap, all that stuff. You couldn't use them. But if you swore in her presence you were going to be chewing on those soaps, I know what those soaps taste like. I know what those perfumey old lady soaps taste like. Thank you, Granny, for that. You made me be able to put a paradigm to a certain taste in a beer by making me chew on a bar of soap because I swore. I swore in a household where every fucking person swore every fucking second word, either in an Irish accent or in a Canadian accent because they were born in Ireland or they were raised here in Canada. They all swore, but as soon as the child of the family swore, you got to chew on a soap. And now, Kyle, I taste soap in your beer. Thank you, Granny. Thank you, Mother. I taste soap in this beer. Motherfucker. It's the green seashell one, too. Basically everything I smelt I taste. A little bit of passion fruit, a little bit of slightly tart wet hay, a little bit of graininess, that perfumey floral soap, and that perfumey floral soap leaves a slightly astringent, slightly almost hairspray-like feel on the back of my palate. It's really that soap flavor that leaving that feeling on the back of my palate that I'm against. I love the passion fruit taste. I actually do not mind the graininess. I do not mind the Brett funk on this. It's just that old lady soap that I don't like, and it might be because I had to chew on that soap. That might be my problem, that, I was a bad kid that swore and I had to eat soap. That could be my problem. It was worse? When she ran out of those soaps and they were too expensive to keep buying, so then you started getting dish soap. That one was harder to get out of your mouth. You'd think, when you bit a bar of soap and it would get in between your teeth and stuff, that would be harder, but no. Dish soap was harder. It's made to cut grease. It's... Your whole mouth is full of it. It's not a bad beer. It's not a great beer. It's not a bad beer. I could drink the Mondo Bongo. It just gives me anger problems as I drink it. Out of 10 on it, I'd give it a solid 7. I'd give it a solid 7. Thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful evening. Au revoir, à bientôt. See you soon. Bye-bye. Mwah.